My name is Raymond T. Domingo and I am from ESE31. Today, I'm going to answer two questions. First, is economic globalization good for the Philippines? Like most other EMEs, the Philippine economy has become increasingly intertwined with the global economy. The general increase in good trade and labor mobility demonstrate this. Finance is likewise becoming more integrated, albeit at a slower pace. The Philippine trade openness improves from 88.1% to 101% of its gross domestic product between the 1990s and the 2000s. Beginning in the 1980s, the country's attempt toward a more open trade policy contributed to this development. This increased trade openness was aided by lower transportation costs and improves information and communication technology, which aid the creation of complex GVCs. Notable in the electronic and electrical components, allowing corporations to better manage their production. Another cause is the country's rapid expansion of information and communication technology-based business process outsourcing services. According to the data, on ICBPO earnings, the industry grew by more than 50% annually from 2006 to 2008 and continued to rise in double digits until 2016. Along with India, the Philippines has established itself as one of Asia's two major BPO industry centers. The Philippines' overall trade climbed to 101.4% of GDP in 2010. Thanks to the country's continuous openness to globalization, in fact, the increase in global commerce that began in 2017 has aided in countering the sluggish global demand that persisted after the GFC. Globalization progressed more slowly in terms of financial openness. The total capital flows in the countries climbed from 3.1% of GDP in the 1990s to 3.4% of GDP in the 2000s. Another significant financial change has been implemented in 2014. The increasing liberalization of foreign bank participation was a sign of openness. From 2010 to the 261 BIP's paper number 100, first quarters of 2017, suggests that the government has room to liberalize more. The increasing exposure of the economy's internal liabilities to both portfolio and direct investment reflect not only foreign investors' hunt for income, but also growing trust in the country's macroeconomic fundamentals. Resident portfolio investment in the other countries climbed from 1.5% of GDP in December 1999 to 5.2% in September 2017, indicating that domestic corporations are becoming more international investors. Evidence demonstrates that globalization benefits the economy of the country, employment and growth, trade openness, and foreign portfolio flows. In particular, following the Asian financial crisis, have contributed to strongest per capita GDP's growth in the Philippines. FX liberalization change are being implemented. Remittance from overseas have increased significantly. Consumption, investment, labor productivity, and economic growth have all increased. This during normal times. Of remittances have also aided in the Philippine economy. In the past, there have been crisis circumstances and this predicted to occur in the future. Furthermore, FDI boosts employments and gross values added not only in the manufacturing sector, but also in other industries including construction, financial intermediation, and transportation, storage, and communication. Furthermore, the worldwide offshore IT-enabled services industries' persistent expansion in employment and pay has considerably increased household spending over the years and financial investment. Second question is the existence of a Westphalian state possible in a globalization world? Yes, because globalization, without a doubt, contributes to the evolution and construction of state sovereign powers. Since Jean Bowden's Sixth Book of Commonwealth in the late 16th century, national sovereignty issues have always been central to political science. It's no surprise, then, that the new features of this area have emerged in the last 2 or 3 decades. Particularly, when considering globalization and the New World Order, the question of change, desperation, or disappearance of national sovereignty in political science has begun to be raised in the late 20th and early 21st century in relation with the concern of globalization and the new international order. In my opinion, changes in sovereignty are currently among the most important. It is legitimate to discuss the majority of countries and the international system overall transaction to a new condition of sovereignty. If such processes gain traction, they are likely to have an impact on all aspects of life, including changes in ideology and social psychology. On the one hand, much has been said about globalization promotes forces that objectively erode the sovereignties of countries. Since post-war period, however, an increasing number of governments have voluntarily and purposely limited their sovereignty right. Therefore, it is important to recognize that changes and reduction of volume and scope of state of sovereignty is a bilateral process. Thank you.